Hello and welcome back to Phantasy Star 4. And this episode we take on the Garuberg Tower, which actually required more editing than the air castle did. I ended up cutting like 14 minutes off of this video just out of random encounters. Speaking of which, this is a more typical one. It's a fine greeting because it shows you exactly how many enemies you're basically going to have to deal with all the way up. Let me think about why I even left this one in. I'm just gonna chalk it up to an editing mistake. So anyway, the Garuberg Tower isn't as big as the air castle, but it's certainly more fierce in the kind of random encounters you're going to end up dealing with. And it's frankly just a little bit gross. So anyway, there's actually some navigation skills required to get through this place, and there are actually a couple of switches required to go forward. Anyway, ghouls are, well, nastier versions of the zombies. They're certainly not really all that durable. However, they have an ability that can put your entire party, minus Ren of course, to sleep. However, one solid hit from any of your regular attacks can take down the ghouls pretty quickly. Yeah, the Garuberg Tower is definitely more fierce than the air castle, especially since there are no restoration points. There is only one boss, but it's a bit of a doozy. Yeah, the random encounters actually thin out a bit later on. I guess what I'm encountering in the early stages is the Garuberg Tower's equivalent of the lobby battle from the Matrix. Everybody just sort of stacked up at the entrance and attacked us all at once. There are some worthwhile treasures to be found in here. However, I decide to forgo getting the Moon Slasher because Kyra's main proficiency isn't really with physical damage. I tried going Dual Slasher and that just sort of killed her durability. And I really kind of need her alive to do her out-of-combat healing and resource conservation. Yeah, that was a battle where the ghouls used their all-sleep thing. Anyway, because I'm unsure of how much power I'm going to have with, the giant storm headed my way, I tried to do the long play video of Monster Party early, and I did actually complete the game from front to back in one life in one good go. However, I forgot to properly export the AVI and lost the whole playthrough. Played through all of Monster Party for nothing. Go me. Ah, good, the power shield. A way to increase Kyra's... Oh, never mind. Well, I'm just going to have to try Monster Party again a bit later. And speaking of completing games, there's actually, after Garuberg Tower, there's actually not much of this game left as far as I remember it. There's only a few more plot elements and that's the whole game. Oh, by the way, what happened there is that the Dark Marauder showed up all big and badass and Rika just sort of knocked him down in one hit thanks to the Genocyber Claw. At this point in the game, if you've been diligent about picking up things like the Silver Tusk and so on, Rika is actually your biggest physical attack damage dealer. And she's kind of been that way since we actually got the Ice Digger and were able to buy the Lightning Claws. And I told you this thing would show up as a random encounter. I think Phantasy Star 4 is really the last RPG I'm going to Let's Play it for at least a long time. Because the thing about action games is that I don't really have to do as much editing as I do with RPGs like Phantasy Star 4. Because I could do, Phantasy Star 4 in screenshot format. However, as I said in the opening post of the thread, that would take even longer as I had to transcribe the dialogue and do all the screenshots. And pick which screenshots I use because of the forum's 10 screenshots per post limit. I think it would be more trouble than it was worth. And I would actually have a much higher chance of just giving up on the Let's Play if that's the way I decide to do it. Anyway, the reason for my dire straits there is because I encountered a couple of ghouls accompanying a Chaos Sorcerer, and the ghouls slept my party, and then decided to Tandle everyone and knocked out Ren and, all kinds of nastiness. It's about at that point that I decided, you know what, forget the treasures, I just want this dungeon done and over with as soon as possible. The Garberg Tower is really the section of the game I dread most when replaying the game. The fighting is pretty fierce, there's no restore points to conserve your abilities and skills and techniques and so on. And the monsters here can really ruin you. Probably didn't help that I came here basically right after I finished the air castle. Maybe I should have gained a level or something before trying to attempt this. Oh well. The video got done and that's what matters. Say what you will about other things I've done, but I really am dedicated to getting these Let's Plays finished out. So, King Sabers, I forgot, aren't the kind of centaurs that can attack everybody, but they have a powerful single attack ability called Ray Spear. I guess Phantasy Star 4 is the RPG, not only the one that I most wanted to Let's Play, but the Let's Play I'm really most interested in completing for pretty much everyone's sakes. Because I can't really say that I see such, crisp and concise design in RPGs much anymore. The thing is, I only ever finished one of the PlayStation 1 Mega RPGs, the ones that advertise themselves as being 60 plus hours long. The only one of those I ever actually finished was Xenogears. Well, finished on my own anyway. An escapipe is always a welcome sign in dungeons because it means the dungeon is almost over. But yeah, I think there's a fair bit of problem with a bunch of modern RPGs, because they do have like 60, 70, 80 plus hours general play time. But the thing is, it's really just trying to stretch 20 hours of story maximum over 60 or more hours of game. So it really feels a bit bloated, and I think I've probably complained about this before, come to think of it. I guess kind of my other problem is that a lot of modern video RPGs not only have all of these complicated subsystems, but they require the player to master all of them in order to progress and succeed in the game. The thing is, that's fine with me when it comes to tabletop RPGs, because a tabletop session can last like 5, 6, 7 hours. But with video games, I generally don't play them at that long a stretch. I usually that is, only play video games an hour or so at a time, possibly even less. So I really don't want to have to spend some of that precious time fiddling around with all the subsystems and other such mechanical shenanigans. Sometimes all the complexity I want out of my video entertainment is, at level 7 you learn heal more, or something like that. Oh, hello there. Okay, heal up everybody. It sure is. You wanted Dark Force to attack you. You are nuts. So this is Dark Force Fight 2. And he's a bit of a different beast this time around. Not only is his defense higher, but his resistances have also been improved. So he's no longer insanely weak to the destruct. I mean, we're about 10 levels higher than we were when we fought him last time, and Greyblade still does less damage than in our first fight with him. His attacks are almost all very powerful. He has 3. And we don't have the benefit of Raja to give us basically infinite healing this time. I kinda like Dark Force's little boss intros, as they remind me of an earlier NES game, which was never released in the US, but it was called Morio Senki Madara, which was based on the manga of the same name. And each of the major bosses in that game would have their own little boss intro cutscene. Pretty neat for an NES game. So yeah, the thing is, we're really not doing that much more damage than the first time we fought him, and he's hitting us pretty hard. Lightning Shower's a pretty strong magic attack, and it's lightning, which means it hurts Ren double much. We're pretty much firmly in the phase of the game where bosses are basically hope your healing doesn't run out sort of fighting. Basically, at this point, Rika is what stands between our party and ultimate total destruction. Though anytime she can get her own hits in is very good. By the way, Kyra learned Nayfoy along the way, which means she's now very offensively powerful rather than just middlingly so. Her Nayfoy is not that much weaker than Rune's. Though it's really Chaz and even a little bit of Rika we need to rely on to be our big damage dealers in Dark Force fights. Oh yeah, Rune actually used a new skill I acquired, Legion, which is probably one of the most powerful all attacks in the game by sheer stats. However, it deals energy damage, which means that there aren't really any enemies that are weak to it. Dark Force 2, by the way, is the second most durable boss in the game hit points wise. Only the final boss has more. However, the final boss has about 3 times more, so it's actually quite a long haul. And Dark Force 2 is down. And, well, Raja was right. The storm's over, everything's solved. And everyone can go home. Show's over. Oh, oops. Yeah, defeating Dark Force once is normally enough. Oh dear. Thankfully their storm shelter was tough enough for it. Okay, care to enlighten us, Bishop? Damn shame. The what? Come to think of it, Dark Force has never really articulated anything. It kind of makes sense for it to be only a weapon of something else, because that's basically all it's done. It's never actually led to anything. It just sort of shows up and wreaks havoc through agents or on its own or whatever. The Arrow Prism, another Phantasy Star 1 item. Of course, he's used it before. We need a vehicle that can travel across the lake. Right across the place where the secrets are held. Oh well. Probably gonna have to jump through some stupid hoops to get them, though. No, bad guys can just get whatever they want. They just need to call on dark gods, and boom, they got power. Good guys, they have to do all the work. Okay, with the hydrofoil, all of Matavia is now open to us, which means we can do more bounty missions. For the first time in a while, we no longer have a full party. And we're actually going to have to operate this way for a little while. Anyway, Dark Force has been defeated, but the enemy will not relent, and we need the Arrow Prism. See you next time.